be in here like this. So I just pull the props out, set them aside. This is Velcroed down like this for storage when you travel. Pull that out. This travels with this on it. It protects the gimbal. And if he has any questions, I'm going to put this on real quick, but if he has any questions, what he should do is go to the DJI.com, to their website, and look at the instructions on how to put the gimbal mount on. The gimbal also has a protector for the lens, like that. So you pull that off, you slide that off, set those aside. Then you got the props. The props are marked gray and black. On the tips of the motors, they're either gray or black. They're a black tip or a gray. So you just coincide the blacks with the grays because they're threaded opposite directions. If you get them on the wrong one and you try to twist it on, it'll cross thread. So make sure you get those right. And then it shows on the prop which way there's a little arrow. It says spin this way or this way. So you that's the wrong one. That's how you don't do it. Just spin them on, and you can do it finger tight. Hold onto the motor like this, hold onto the prop, and finger tight, tighten them. This is all you have. If you keep it in the case, you have to do this, but if you leave it out of the case, you can leave the prop on as long as you want. And the next is the battery, and it'll be right in this little case right here. You can test the voltage by just tapping that button. That's 100%, 4 bars. The battery goes only one direction. It can't go this way. You'll know immediately it won't go in. There's 2 contacts. You'll see them. It's got to snap in. Click. And then this little piece is also in there. It's got a threaded piece right here that you undo. You put it in on like this. Like that. You snap that on. And then you thread this on. This holds your phone. It's really made for a tablet, but I just use a couple rubber bands because if the phones are smaller. So I'll show you. You put a phone on it, it's a little loose. What it actually does is it expands. If you have if you have a tablet, you can fit a tablet in here. It'll fit any size. You see what I mean? It'll expand. So I just set my phone in there. Get a couple rubber bands and put them over like this. Kind of I don't know, it's not beautiful, but it's better than that than your phone fall off. And you're ready to go. This is the charger. You'll figure that out. It's just the power cord plugs in one end. This charges the battery, this little thing right here. And you just plug the battery in and it'll charge itself. When it's done, it stops. And the actual remote itself charges via USB. And the USB's right here. And you can plug that into any low voltage USB. I actually plug it into my computer. So anything that's got a USB out, pretty much. And the indicators for it are right here. Turn the radio on. And then how you do this, and this can be a little tricky. A lot of people have trouble with this, but if you do it right, it's real easy. You do a quick tap and then a 2-second tap. You go tap, tap, and it'll boot up. The gimbal should cycle through and do a little twist and shout, and then get your phone, go to DJI.com, and download the Go app. It's called DJI Go. Actually, it'll be in the Play Store if it's Android. It'll be in the iTunes if it's in the iTunes Store if it's Apple. It's called DJI Go. Get that app loaded, and then once you get it loaded, you'll tap on the app, and there's the, there you are. Anyway, the first time you do it, I want to show you something. I'm going to close the app because this is kind of important. The first time you connect to it, the way this app connects is through Wi-Fi. So you'll go, so again, you have iPhones, right? So the way you're going to
No,
do,
we have
Android?
Android.
Oh, perfect. Let's go to settings. Go to Wi-Fi. And right there you see it says Desi's P3 connected. You can change that name. It actually connects through via Wi-Fi connection. So you'll look and you'll find that Desi's P3, and you can change the name when you want to. And tap on it and it'll connect. Just like if you were connecting to...
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Just like if you're connecting to any internet connection, it's the same thing. You do that previous to opening the Go app. And then once you open the Go app, it's already connected and you're ready to fly.
Okay, if he uses his iPad, is it different?
Yeah, it is different. If he uses his iPad, then the two things that are different is the app itself will have to be run out of iTunes. The other thing is he will have to use a phone and make it a hotspot. He knows how to do that probably. I'm sure. You have to rebroadcast this app has to have an internet connection to run properly. So if you were out in the middle of nowhere, you would have to have your phone with you and make it a hotspot and then connect your internet to that. So, yeah, it is a little bit different to do it that way. Again, on their website, it'll have all of that, how to do it either way, with Android or with Apple.
Yeah,
because they're a little bit different. Once you get into the app, it's exactly the same. It's just like, once you're here, like I think I was saying, I don't know if I caught it, but the Go app, once you're in the Android or the Apple app, they're identical. It's just loading them, and that process is a little different, but their website has that information on there. Once you're here, you have to familiarize yourself with this app, but all this stuff, this is where your camera functions are. This is how you start recording. There's a little bit of a lag, a second or so. It's recording video now. And it'll count. You see it counting right there? It's actually recording. And then you press again to stop. If you want to shoot photos, that little switch above it switches to photo. And it'll take a picture. Since I'm shoot mostly video, I usually have it over in the video side, but he'll probably have it more on the photo side. That's an HDR photo too. Those take a little bit longer to load because if you do RAW and JPEG, it takes longer to transfer the photo. So, and we'll talk about that stuff. That's getting off the subject a little. Let me do that switch back over. Come on, there you go. And when you're ready to fly, the way you have to get it to start, so it's kind of a safety feature, is you pull both of the sticks down into the corners, to bottom inside corners like this.
The home point has been updated. Take off.
And it'll sit there like that until you give it a little throttle. Right here. This is throttle. Anyway, we'll go over that outside, but what was I going to say? What's important?
Satellites.
Oh, home point. You have to have your volume up. Always have the volume up. And make sure that the Go app tells you that your home point has been recorded. That is probably the number one most important thing. And the number one reason people have accidents and problems is they don't wait for everything to acquire. Once it says your home point's been recorded, somebody can come up to you and slap the radio out of your hand, and that'll come back and land right at your feet. There's no way you can lose it. I've never lost one. So I've been extra careful with that. If he does that, and always make sure the home point's been recorded, good to go. So, and same to shut the motors down, bottom corners. So you can stop it, and then once you're ready to fly, make sure you get it out in a good open area, as far away from edges of roofs and wires. Make sure everything's clear. The farther away you are from power lines, you'll get a lot of electromagnetic interference the closer you get to civilization. The best flights you'll have are in the middle of nowhere, up in the mountains, out in the desert. You can fly. You don't have any interference. But when you're in the city, you'll get a little more interference. But as long as you're free of wires and stuff, I still haven't had any issue. It's just you'll get a little glitch in the video. It records fine. It'll just flicker. I shouldn't even bring that up because it's really not an issue. It's just something you should know. Once you're ready, this right here, this knob right here,
Yeah.
you watch my finger and watch the screen at the same time. It tips the gimbal forward and back. It rolls up and down. So that's how you adjust the camera angle once you're up in flight. This is how he starts it again.
The home point has been updated. Take off.
And I'll show it in the background. Kind of, you can show my hand. You got it framed right? Honey?
No,
You got this in and that?
it's in between your hands. There we go.
How's that? Oh, here we go. Up throttle right there. You got out of their way. Anyway, there's the video, and see now I'm tipping the camera down. You can see us right there. Yeah. Other than tipping the gimbal, the rest of it is flight. Just for normal cruising, like for video, I usually have the horizon just like that. And then, anyway, you can, once you get good at it, you can roll the gimbal and fly at the same time. Here's the functions of flight. This stick is throttle up, throttle down. That makes it go up and down. And it makes it twist left and right. This stick makes it go forward and backwards. And it makes it slip right and slip left. So it's a combination of both sticks. When you start flying, you use them both like this, and you actually slip, and it's just, you'll get used to it. But as you can see, the video is perfectly smooth. If there's any jump in it, it's just the phone. Anyway, I don't know. Anything else?
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Don't crash it. As long as you do the home point, that's really important. A really good thing to know too is up here you'll see a satellite and a bar, like bars. See, it says it's got 11 satellites right now. Sometimes it's as high as 20 or 25. The higher that number is, the better. I always had a rule of thumb: if there weren't 6 satellites connected, I wouldn't fly. They tell you 3 or 4, but I always did 6. The more satellites you have, the more triangulated your position is, and the more accurate it will come back and land. I'll show you. Let me check something out here. I'm going to go on the menu and return to home, 60 meters. Let me show you something. What happens? You turn the radio off. It's not a good thing to do, usually. Watch the drone.
Can't see it with the camera.
Never mind. I didn't do it right. Well, I'll show him that later, Linda.
Okay.
Probably not the best time to shoot. Yeah. It's gonna land itself. That's actually what it does, is it'll land itself. And then shut down. I kind of did that wrong, actually. It says firmware upgrade. I should upgrade that firmware. I don't know, anything else? Oh, I wasn't recording. I'll do a little flight and record it, just for fun.
Okay.
The home point and take off.
Anyway, it's really maneuverable, like very maneuverable. The best part is the video you get is always just smooth as glass. You can land it manually like this. I usually do because I like it. It's more fun. But until you learns, I'll show you this too. There's all kinds of stuff to
The
show.
home point has been up. Take off.
When you've come in to land and say he's like, when he's not, sometimes you do it if there's a breeze or maybe a little uneven ground. You can make it land itself when you get close to where you want to land. You just click that down arrow. Come on. And it'll ask you, aircraft will land at its current location, and you click OK. And it'll pause for a second, and it'll go ahead and land and shut down. It does a pretty smooth landing usually. Sometimes it's really smooth, like that. Yeah, it's even smoother than I don't know. That's a good feature to use if you're worried about tipping it over. You know, it'll save you. I do use it sometimes if it's breezy, because sometimes if it's breezy it wants to tip over, and it does a really good job, better than you can, of leveling itself, because it has, not only is it acquiring GPS, but it has its own leveling system too, so it knows if it's off balance and it'll correct for it. Yeah, the card, all the video that you watch is not the video that you're going to save. The actual high def video is saved. Here you go. On this card right here, it's right in the top of it. See that card slot? It's a micro, right there. And you just press down just like you do on your phone, and it'll pop out. And then you grab that card, put it on your computer. You can put it right into Premiere or any editing software, and it'll recognize the video. It's not a crazy codec or something. It's all recognized by most programs now. So it's twisted. Oh yeah, and you can see the gimbal, how it just doesn't, the camera, yeah, it doesn't move. It stays level no matter what I do.
Oh.
See that? Weird, huh?
Yeah.
Even as fast,
A little steady cam, huh?
fast as I want.
Yeah, you can even
See,
just hold it.
It should be shaking, but it's not.
Sweet.
It's the greatest invention ever,
Yeah.
I think. $800? Not really. No. These things are like the DJIs. Some of the high-end DJIs they make are like $5,000 and $6,000 and $8,000. They're amazing what people are spending for these, and you can get them for a really good price now because it's a competitive market. And I'm glad to be able to. I don't know. I hope you really. I think you'll love it. You know. Yeah. It is a 12 megapixel camera. Some people go, but you know, I don't know. You can still print 12 megapixel prints. The prints look great. I don't know. I think the photos look great. They are bumping the megapixel up on these, but they get more expensive, you know, the higher they get. But the video shoots at 2.7K, which is kind of halfway in between 1920 and 4K. So it's really clean video. There's a lot I can go over with him though. A lot more, tons.
You were saying something about the battery when it runs out.
Yeah,
It'll just come back and land.
Yeah, when it gets to a low point, it will return to land on its own. I've got it to set up at 25% to come back and land. It'll prompt you. It'll say, do you want to, or do you want to just keep flying? I usually listen to it and come back, because it's the people that lose their drones are the ones that don't listen to that warning, and they stay out and fly another 3 or 4 minutes, and then the wind picks up or it starts raining anyway, and they're done. It's always a good idea to have that extra. Yeah, I mean, I've had drones return to home with 25% less and fly 4 or 5 miles back and land, you know, where they wouldn't have if you kept flying until you only had 5%. Because it will crash if you bypass that warning. It'll warn you again and again. If you keep bypassing, it'll just run out of power and crash. But I've never run out of power in a flight because I've always listened to that. So they're able to handle this low temperature fine. They've got these batteries. It's a good idea to keep the battery as warm as you can right up to the second of flight. They always tell you, keep them as warm as you can. So if you're going to be out flying, put it on the dashboard, put it on defrost and heat it up. The battery can handle lots of heat, but the cold will reduce its flight time. So if you heat it up, by the time it cools down, you probably used it up, you know. So anyway.
Good?
Yep, we're good.
Okay, bye.